What is going on, everybody? I was truly blessed this year to have an awesome archery season. In this video, we're going to go over some of the highs, some of the lows, and we're also going to see me put this beautiful Pennsylvania 8-point on the ground. Here we go. October 1st, the first official day of Pennsylvania archery season. I had a goal in mind that I wanted to shoot a doe that evening. The first 10 minutes that I was in my stand, that almost happened. Here's these does, probably came in around 22 yards, and they just didn't give me a clear shot. It was a small doe. I didn't like the shot, so I let her walk for the first night. And man, I'm super glad that I did, because my night would have never played out the way it did if I'd have been down chasing that doe around trying to find her. Things are slow. I'm watching turkey in the field, and 6 o'clock comes around. I look behind me over my shoulder just after texting my dad that I didn't see anything, and this big boy pops out. Now he is feeding in the field, curious. I see a few does that are actually closer to me come out of this corner, and he starts feeding his way over to me. Now this buck, as he fed, got curious, came within about 50 yards of me, but there was a big tree in the way and I had absolutely no shot. I'm pretty sure that he caught my scent because he really started to get a little bit edgy once he got into that 50-yard mark, and he never wanted to continue up the row of the field. He didn't go and run into the woods, but he just kind of started feeding and working himself in the opposite direction. But again, he put on a great show, and to see a buck like that on the first night of the season really got my heart pounding and got me excited. Now, probably around 7 o'clock, after I'm still watching this big buck, out of that same corner, I see two more shooter bucks come out. First is a small 8-point, and he kind of did the same thing. He fed out away from me. And then right after him, I noticed that there was another deer kind of far in the woods, and I saw him start to feed out. And here, it was a nicer 8-point, had a nice wide rack, and he also fed out around this certain corner. Now, as this day came to an end, I never did get a shot, but I did get a game plan. And I knew that I had to get myself closer to the corner where I saw all three of those shooter bucks go and feed. So the very next day, with the help of my dad, he decided to come down and help me move a stand. So I actually hung a stand right in the corner where I saw all those deer feeding. And it was perfect because that very evening, we had a big heavy rain that kind of washed all of our scent out of the way. Maybe 2 or 3 days later, I did hunt the stand, and it was just a very warm evening and nothing really came out into the field. But I knew that this stand was comfortable and it was in a good spot, so I couldn't wait to get in there on the next cold front.
Alright, what's up guys? Thanks for tuning in. Tonight, this should be a good night. I'm in here, it's about 3:30, so I got in here nice and early. I'm in the same stand that I saw three nice shooter bucks walk right by this corner, maybe like a little over a week ago. Right about 5 o'clock tonight, there's a mini cold front supposed to go through, and I know that they said the barometric pressure is supposed to start to rise right at the same time. So we're gonna sit tight and hopefully we get a lot of action tonight. I think if we get a good shot at a doe, we're gonna try to take a doe, but I'm gonna be keeping an eye out, and hopefully the buck are on their feet tonight too.
The very first deer that walked into the field was the big 10-point that I had my eyes on from October 1st. He came out about 60 yards from me, and he was feeding anywhere from 60 to 70 yards right in front of me. Now, maybe 20 minutes after him, the small 8-point started to feed out right next to him, and they were actually, pretty peaceful to each other. They were, licking each other and feeding right next to each other. And I'd say maybe this went on for about 20 minutes. And at that time, a small spike actually came right out from under me, maybe 5 yards from my stand, walked directly up to the 8-point and started to poke at him and started to pick a fight with the smaller 8-point. And the 8-point just kind of turned his head to try to shove him off, but I think what that did is that got the 10-point, the bigger buck, to start to get a little bit more aggressive. So next thing I know, I have an awesome buck fight starting to transpire right in front of me, where this 10-point and this 8-point are just going at it. Now, as I'm watching these buck fight, they're going anywhere from 45 yards to 60 yards, and anywhere in between. And while they're doing it, they're behind this big tree that I have these real small windows that I could try to squeeze off a shot. But I never felt comfortable at 45 yards, especially when they're pushing each other back and forth and turning. So I was just trying to tell myself to be patient and enjoy watching this fight and capturing great footage for the camera. For a while, the buck started to move farther and farther away from me as they fought. They would stop and eat, move farther away, and to my surprise, it was actually the spike that started to head closer to me in the field, and that spike walked just to my left in the wide open field and was standing at about 30 yards eating. And as he's standing there, the 8-point, the small 8-point, started to work his way in there, and he started feeding right at about 33 yards away from my tree stand, which I could have shot him, but my eyes and my hopes were on the big 10-point, who was still, maybe 50 yards away from me, 60 yards away from me out, further away from me in the field. Now, as I'm being patient, I finally started to get a glimpse of the 10-point walking directly where the two bucks were eating, right in my shooting lane. Here's where things get interesting. I start to get ready, my cameras are rolling, I'm setting my camera arm right in the place where I think that this 10-point is going to come and feed right next to the other two buck that are already there. And the way that this, well, why don't you just watch and enjoy this footage, and you'll see what happens, why I don't have this big buck on the ground. So as you can see from the video, I did come to full draw on this buck, but he chased after that little 8-point and ran right through my shooting lane. And by the time I did get him to stop, he was behind a limb, so I never did get a shot. You should have drew the bow earlier. What? Oh, well, look who it is. Yeah, if you'd have drew the bow earlier, you might have been able to stop him before he ran through the shooting window. True, but how am I supposed to anticipate that that deer is just going to start taking off running right whenever I'm about to shoot him? It doesn't matter. You should have been ready. Yeah, you're probably right. I am right. I won't make that mistake again. I hope not. Did you ever see that deer again? No. I hunted for him a bunch of times in October and actually 2 times in November, but he never showed back up. So he either moved core areas or maybe he got shot by another hunter. Who knows? Well, hopefully he's still alive, and next year he's even going to be bigger, and that's when we'll kill him. What do you mean we'll shoot that buck? So the beginning of my season was absolutely awesome. I had a bunch of great hunts, saw a bunch of great bucks, and then things slowed down through October. My time to hunt was limited, and the days that I did go out, it was pretty warm, and I had trouble seeing the bucks on their feet. It was the typical October lull period. Now, November 5th, I get into the stand nice and early. 9:30, I started to get antsy. I was standing up. I had to turn around in my stand to reach into my pack, and as I turned around, my stand creaked. As my stand creaked, I just happened to look up, and next thing you know, I see a shooter buck standing probably 20 yards away from me in the thicket. That was going to walk a path coming right down next to me. Now, he didn't get scared, but he did hear my stand creak, looked right up at me, and just kind of turned around and walked the other way. The way that this stand is set up, there's a really, really big tree with an arm's reach just off to my left. And it's a good thing and a bad thing, because that deer, I would have seen him coming in and I would have never been trying to reach in my bag if I'd have known he was coming. But because I couldn't see around the big tree, you know, he was hidden from me. This comes into play later in the day. So just remember this big tree. So now I'm kind of bummed out. I sit in the tree. It's really, really slow all day long. I watch a couple turkey feed through in front of me. 3 o'clock comes around, and a nice 3-point comes right from the thicket and works his way in front of me, out and around, and I kind of gets my spirits back up that I start to see deer. So now 4 o'clock, 4:30 comes around, and I start to hear footsteps on the other side of the big tree again. So now I'm peeking around the left of the tree, trying to look and see if there was anything on that same trail that the buck was on earlier, and nothing was turning up. I didn't see anything. I just happened to peek around the right side of the tree, and lo and behold, this 8-point is 7 yards from my stand. So now this tree, the big tree, actually helped me and pretty much hid him and let him get in that close. And his nose was occupied on the Tinks 69 that I had sprayed on the ground and on a couple scent wicks that I had. So he wasn't even looking up or had any care or know in the world that I was there. So that let me make sure I had my GoPro rolling and got my camera on him. And here's the footage. Enjoy.
Man, did that happen fast. I couldn't see him. All I heard was footsteps. I didn't know what was going on. There's a giant tree right to my left, and I kept hearing something. I haven't seen barely anything all day, and this thing came within probably, 5 yards, 10 yards from my tree. I think I made a good shot. I thought I heard him crash, but I'm gonna just wait a little bit. I'm gonna call my dad. I'm gonna review the footage. I'll get back to you. Hopefully we'll pick up the blood trail here pretty quick. Yeah, baby. All right, guys. I just got down. I don't want to go too far because, judging by the shot, I know that it was pretty steep. I know he got full penetration. I don't know if it was a pass through. I'm hoping that it poked through the other side and there should be some blood. But if it didn't go through the bottom, then there might not be a good blood trail. So that's why I want to take it easy. I don't want to push this deer. So I'm going to wait a while. I call my dad, call my brother-in-law Paul. So I'm going to go take a peek through the binoculars just right out here where I last saw him. Just to give you a quick look. This here is right about where he was standing. And there's the big tree I was talking about. And there's my tree stand. Right up there. So this is just just right about where I shot him. Right here. No need for a blood trail. I just peeked around this corner right here. Let me show you real quick. There is my stand. And about 50 yards away, I see a dead deer. All right. There he is, guys. I got him moved. Pretty nice 8-point. I mean, for around here, from what I've been seeing all year.
I'm truly thankful that I put this buck on the ground and got another nice, beautiful Pennsylvania deer. I know there were other bigger deer in the woods, and I even saw some bigger deer this season, but now that I was able to finish up with another nice buck, I was able to spend some time at home with my wife and my 2 little girls, and I also have a freezer full of meat that I'm sure will be eaten all year long. Thank you guys a ton for watching this video. If you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up and a share. To all my subscribers, I appreciate you tuning back in and watching the video. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and look out for more hunting and fishing content. So until next time, take care, and good luck to you guys if you're out in the field hunting or fishing. All right, we'll see you.